Greetings, wrestling purists. Hutch Henries here, and was supposed to record our best of end of the year here with the A+ guys, but instead I'm going to talk to you guys about War of the Titans, because I watched it en vivo, live last night on the YouTube. And I actually started off on the Spanish language portion, and I got to tell you, like Jose Manuel, is it Julian, and Roberto Figueroa, I think it is. Yes. Anyways, those guys were hyped, and so were the crowd. Everybody was super hyped. And according to Conan, when I eventually switched over about halfway through the opening match over to the English broadcast, he was talking about how everybody was up and hyped. Like 2 hours before the show, these 20,000 fans in attendance at Arena Guadalajara, they were hyped. It was electric. And it's the 26th anniversary or edition of this marquee event. It's their year-end event every single year, and this is the first year under the WWE AAA partnership. And since we were going to do our best of and worst of on the A+ podcast here today, that's just got pushed off, I got to tell you, one of my best ofs was this partnership. I was very worried about it at first, and but it's been really awesome. WWE has given them infrastructure, backup, but also given them a ton of freedom. Their AAA shows, they still have the AAA flavor, the Lucha flavor. It's just enhanced now, and access to these WWE guys. When I first did a video about this merger, it was only 12 contracts signed. At the time, they said everybody else was getting nothing, but I'm realizing what it is now. AAA is still being allowed to do their own thing, hence why I think Conan is still on with Corey Graves and JBL, who both did a great job on the English language commentary. I thought if WWE was in charge completely, they might have pushed him aside, but it's nice to see that he's still there doing his thing, and they're, you know, the way that they're booking is great. They've got the contracts, they've got WWE guys, then they've got guys on WWE and AAA contracts like Vikingo, Iguana, Psycho Clown, guys like that. They're on like a double contract, and then you have guys that are only contracted to AAA, which I was worried these guys weren't going to get booked, like the Psycho Circus, Dave the Clown, Monster Clown, Las Toxitas, the ladies, Nino Hamburguesa, Hamburger Boy, so stuff like that. And then you've got guys who are still independent, now completely independent, and are being pulled in for single shots, like Jack Cartwheel. And we will talk about that. Hopefully he's going to get himself a AAA contract. But I was really impressed with this show, and I think 2026 is going to be the year for AAA. They've got their Fox Espanol deal. They've got a TV show starting just at the end of January. Going to be weekly TV for AAA, and this is going to be absolutely awesome. Fan forums basically have been praising this event. It's the seamless integration of these two promotions has impressed everybody. And like I said, I was very afraid at first, but we're gonna dissect these matches here. We're gonna check over the results and fan reactions from X, and we're gonna talk about Jack Cartwheel and his situation a little bit here. So let's get into it.
How do you like it? I'm a novice at this. I make a few mistakes.
Justin Thunderliger.
I don't know.
All right, so like I said before this started, the hype was real, and the crowd was really, really up for this. This is AAA's first major event with full WWE influence. If you go back to one of my first videos, I was talking about how it was going to take a couple months for them to fully integrate everything, and they have. But I can see why the fans are really hyped. They've been doing a lot of house shows and other shows. Like, people are busy. The Creed brothers are down there busy. Lince Dorado's down there busy. Everybody's busy. We're going to talk about Omos and all kinds of stuff, but I think just last week they were in Puebla. They had AAA Alonza, and there was some really fun stuff on that show. I really enjoyed watching the Creed brothers in that occasion, and it also had one of the main events here, the Vikingo and Dragon Lee stuff, really started to get deep here, and this is where Rey Mysterio came in and made the call to have this match happen. This was one of the first productions that featured enhanced lighting, pyrotechnics, and a like big carnival theme set for one match, that's for sure. But this emphasized the whole Titans theme of clashing giants from different worlds. Some critics noted the show was slightly late starting, around about 3 hours. There was some glitches in the audio stream, but this is all just growing pains for these guys. A really awesome show and a great opener here. Fatal four-way tag team match, pretty high octane. La Parca and Octagon Jr., these guys are awesome against Los Americanos, Bravo Americano, and Rayo Americano. These guys are great. I love me some Pete Dunne, and I love me some Tyler Bate. Mr. Iguano and Nino Hamburguesa, the hamburger boy in there, as well as the LWO, Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde. This was pretty much pure lucha chaos and a hell of a way to start off this. I mean, rapid tags, suicide dives. The crowd was really hot to begin with, and this only made it harder. Joaquin Wilde got the standard Nino Hamburguesa, pulling the hamburger out and shoving it in his mouth. And of course, La Yesca was involved with all kinds of laughs and groans galore. La Parka did really great, dazzling. I love this new La Parka, and I love the new dance moves. And anybody who follows this channel knows that I love me some Octagon Jr. Corey Graves called a double Spanish fly, whereas reality, Spanish fly is a double Spanish fly. When one guy does it, it's called a one-man Spanish fly, because the SAT created that move, and it is a double move. But we will forgive Corey Graves, and at about the 12-minute mark, this match ended, and it was pretty freaking awesome. You should go check this out. Right afterwards, Canelo Alvarez's son was brought into the ring to dance with La Parka, and he was unmasked from a La Parka mask and looked a little uncomfortable for a while without his hat on. He was kind of like looking around and reaching for his hat. They had him on camera for a while. I don't think he liked that, but a perfect opener here. Lots of energetic fun. There were some people on Twitter who thought that maybe there was a few too many comedy spots here, overshadowing what they thought was great technical wrestling, but I don't think you know what you're watching, pal. AAA, you're going to get this stuff. They've actually brought it down a little bit in some fashion, and considering what we're going to get later on in the night, I have no problem here. When you have a Mr. Iguana match, what are you expecting? Come on. I don't know, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Good match, great match. I love this match. Ethan Page came out next for the AAA Latin American Championship, and Page looks amazing these days. He's got the 2 belts, looking for 3, but really come into his own. He was on the Aranza show as well. He's been on the AAA tours lately. He's got the mixed tag with Chelsea Green. These tours have been fun. Apollo Crews came out and took on Lince Dorado. It was a nice time. And Crews coming out with the win, as he should, honestly. It's been way too long since we've seen this guy on the scene, but he was not on this show tonight, and that's what we're talking about, so let's continue. Ethan Page is really a hidden gem these days, and he has been on the scene so long and just like refining himself, and he is going to be a heavy hitter one day. At least, you know, fingers crossed. He certainly deserves it. But he dominated this match with like basically ring IQ. I mean, he's like running Wagner ragged. And by the way, the fans went nuts when he came out as well with his title. They love this guy. I think his new ring gear, his new entrance gear kind of got to him. But everybody loves Wagner's kid. And they were hoping he would administer some bad medicine to Ethan Page. But instead, he got his mask yanked around, totally disoriented him, you know, like drop kick to the face, all kinds of illegal stuff here. Go watch this match. It was fun. At one point, Page took the ring bell wrench, put it in his tights, and the title belt, got in, pretending to hit him with the title belt. The ref grabbed it. Now, this ref, by the way, is also Tarantes, and he's usually a heel. He's worked with Perro de Mal and like El Ticano, and he often, you know, he only gets down on one knee because he's fat to make his counts, and he often counts slow and is like a heel ref, like goes with the bad guys. But it seems that one of the changes from WWE is that's not happening anymore. He seems to be calling everything straight down the middle, at least so far. But he takes the title away, and then Page grabs the wrench out of his tights and hits Wagner in the stomach. I love the stomach shot, like a good oof. Like that would really take you out to the esophagus there, and he gets like the pin from that. But Mr. Iguana comes down to the ring, and I foresee Mr. Iguana maybe taking that NXT title in the future. Hope maybe the feud will just stay here in Mexico. But Mr. Iguana's partner has left him, unfortunately, where Page won this mixed tag team championship from Mr. Iguana, but we'll talk about his tag partner a little later on. But he came down, got the ref's attention, and more evidence that Tarantes is no longer a heel. He restarts the match. Wagner rallies with a couple of moves and finished with his signature Wagner driver and retains the title. This is becoming a hell of a feud, and these guys really work well together. I'm wondering if Page like speaks a bit of Spanish. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Julian is extremely intelligent and a hell of a guy. I've known him casually for a little while, and I'm so happy for him and what's going on with him. Let's call this another, 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10. These guys work great together, blend of styles, and they're good for drama. Page is really good for drama, and I think Wagner is one of the few guys you can kind of see his expression through his mask sometimes, like especially when he's like incredulous, like how dare you, he's like lucha royalty, this guy, so that's kind of interesting. But next we got the Carnival of Carnage. You want to talk about gimmicks? Here we go. So I love the Psycho Circus, and I was afraid we weren't going to see Dave the Clown or Monster Clown around anymore after the WWE buyout and partnership and whatnot. I figured that might be a little too gauche for them. That's not WWE style. But the Psycho Circus is back. Psycho Clown, Murder Clown. You know, I've never been a huge Pagano fan. I think he's had neck problems. I don't like. He doesn't have a lot of upper body strength because of that. I've always felt he was really backyard basement hardcore kind of. I didn't like him. He's like the lower end for me, but I'm glad that he's making money. I'm glad he's here. He's had a good look. People love him, and I don't know, I get this like scumbag vibe from him I don't like, but perhaps I will change my opinion. But you know, I do know a few things about Pagano, and I've never been a huge fan, but doing great here. Still, I think still tag champs down there. They beat the Creed brothers the other day in a hell of a match on that Alonzo tour, so that was fun. But people are saying this whole thing was way too gimmicky. I mean, do you see who's in there? You got the Wyatt 6 all like done up, and the clowns. Like, there's nobody more gimmicky than Los Psycho Circus. So I was fine with how this match went, and of course, it's all just like laughs, and the Mexican fans love this kind of stuff. Really weird that Bo Dallas, that Uncle Howdy did a promo at the beginning, like a recorded promo, but it was his face. It wasn't the mask. It was back and forth. And it was like 90% his face without the mask. So that was interesting. But basically, we started the ring, and there's a promo, and I think one of them, Joe Gacy or somebody, was like, I don't speak Spanish. What are they saying? But they ended up like taunting the Wyatt Six. They go backstage, and we begin the Carnival of Carnage. Basically, tents and booze, madness ensues. They fight each other like crazy. Everybody's involved. Kendo stick ambushes by Mascarita Sagrada. They pull back the curtain. He's there. Pipinella Escalata gives a kiss to Gacy after they pull back that curtain. Pagano goes through a table, like right off of the loading dock, through a table, and they basically say that he's completely out. I don't know what I can say about this, except it was walk and brawl, crazy circus walk and brawl. They eventually make it back to the ring, all kinds of high impact moves. Psycho Clown basically delivers a Psycho Driver through a table, gets the win. It's mostly because Pagano, after it was 4-on-3, Pagano came out with the kendo stick himself and started smacking everybody and basically turned the tide for the good guys here. And they were putting over that Psycho Clown is like the John Cena of Mexico. And in some ways he is. He is absolutely huge. He is lucha royalty. And they're not really treating him like that as such right now. And I can see why. He's like a brawler. He's not a refined wrestler in any fashion. And he's very, very gimmicky. But they're going to sell masks. They're going to sell La Yescas. They're going to do their thing. He's making big money now, and I'm very happy for him. And he deserves to be in the main event. If they put him in the main event at some show, the fans will react to bringing back his clout because they love him and they love his family. But a lot of people were polarized on X about the whole match, saying it's crude, it was too gimmicky or whatnot. But like I said, this is a cultural spectacle. It's a fan favorite for its absurdity, and the absurdity is the key word here. I mean, look at who's in the ring, but fun but messy. We'll give it like a 6 out of 5. 6-7, 6-7, something like that. Yeah, all right, whatever. This could very well have been match of the night. AAA World Cruiserweight Championship triple threat match. Laredo Kid, AAA signed, the champion, coming down against Javon Evans, WWE signed, and Jack Cartwheel, the third man in there, signed nowhere. They mentioned that he's a WWE ID prospect, but he isn't. I don't know why they mentioned that, unless things have changed. Jack was on one of my shows just 3 days ago. We did 2 shows in a row, so 3 and 4 days ago. I didn't speak to him about this then, but I did previously the month before, and they let him go from his contract. He's on the indies now. They told him to work on his character for a while. They're going to bring him back. He might think about turning heel, try different things, but we weren't going to commit booking to him for our next show because he might have been getting a AAA contract after this booking. That was his aim here. AAA is booking independent talent still. They have their own talent as well. I believe these were one-off shots for Jack, and hopefully he's going to get that contract. But yeah, this kid, people talk as if like, wow, I'm just seeing this guy for the first time. This kid has been around for a while. Spectacular moves. A tumbler, an acrobat, a gymnast by trade that got into wrestling, and a California kid, and he's absolutely awesome, and I adore this kid on a personal level as well. But the match itself was non-stop aerial showcase. Hands down, the athletic pinnacle of the night, that's for sure. Serious highlight includes Evans, I think, catching him in a cutter, like from Jack Cartwheel's Jack Arrow, like the twisting moonsault into that. There was a double dropkick spot, Laredo's 450 splash for the retention at the end. I mean, non-stop insanity throughout this entire match. Probably one of 2025's best cruiserweight bouts. I already did my best of for the year, written down on our voting poll online. We were going to do the recording today, but we've pushed it off. But I'm thinking about maybe going in and adding this. I'll have to talk about it during the live broadcast, but we're talking like 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10 match of the night, really. Absolutely killer. Go watch this. Go to the WWE channel and watch this. That's why you're here, right? That's why hopefully WWE's not going to take this down or take footage away, because I'm saying, hey, go watch it. Go make them some money too, right? That's what we're all here for. Women's trios match here. Fabi Apache, Natalya Neidhart, and Lola Vice. Natalya in her low-key legend persona. I love this, against Las Toxitas. So this match is really interesting because they've actually been building this on the tour lately for quite a few weeks. I mean, Natalya, everybody loves Natalya down there. She's been got a shot, I believe, at the championship. But in general, the Las Toxitas, they haven't been a team. So you've got Alejandra leaving, Mr. Iguana coming back to Flammer. They team up. So Fabi and Natty are working together. They have some tag team matches at one point. On one of these shows, Natty had a sharpshooter on the champ, and that's when Maravilla made her return, and they attacked her, put her ankle in a chair and smashed her. I think on the next show, Flammer was in trouble because she was taken one-on-one against Fabi, and she was in a submission. Maravilla made her presence felt again. More chaos. Alejandra smashed Lola Vice into the steel steps. They all had like a massive brawl. Down came Natty, and I think she was like limping at the time. So they've been really building this up. And even though all three women are aiming for the championship, they're gonna team up for the greater good here. And good on them too, because they came out with the win. Hard kicks, a lot of brawling outside, but they had the synergy that they needed. And Fabi, her famous German suplex bridge pin, got the pin on the champ, so she might be getting a shot at the Reinas championship. And she's really popular. She used to have a tag team with her older sister. Now she's on her own, and a lot of great feedback online for this match. They said it was a little bit short. Some people thought this was a bit short, but I think this is just building a bigger narrative for the 2026 women's division here in AAA. Everybody loves Lola Vice. Natty's getting over huge down there. I'm sure that if they brought down the IC champ, Maxine Dupree, people would go gaga for her. So I think we're looking at a solid division in AAA for 2026. Hey guys, I know I'm a little high-strung and neurotic. Sometimes I talk a lot, but if you've gotten this far in the video, please give us a little like there. Just hit the little thumbs up. That means so much. Thank you. The next match was El Hijo del Vikingo against Dragon Lee. This is billed as a generational showdown, and Vikingo's been heel lately, ripped Dragon Lee's mask in this match, used the ropes, tied him up for some brutal knees, a lot of counters from Lee, a lot of jumping around, crazy tope suicidas through a table, styles clash. There was a ref bump, and that led to Omos coming down to the ring to interfere with a massive freaking last ride power bomb, and then Vikingo got the splash win after about 16 minutes, like holding tight too. They had to bring in Daryl Sharma, which I'm glad they're using Daryl's real name. Daryl used to work around here as Hornet. He was on one of his last performances was for Demand Lucha at our Mascara Mania show in 2015. He's great. They had a different name for him for a while, but Daryl Sharma, one of the best young wrestlers in this area, back in the day in the 2010s. And it's great to see that he's had such a huge career down in WWE. Awesome dude. I know that Triple H just adores this guy. But this match, I adored this match. And it was not that much of a surprise that Omos was there. Dorian Roldan revealed that the Evil Eye, his Oro, the Alliance, is back. And he basically just finished disassembling this crew that he has very recently. And I think this is why the AAA TV show is going to be really good. They've been having a lot of backstage scenes, a lot more production. This is where you're seeing WWE's production come in. They had a giant mystery recently on their tour where Roldan was talking with a huge man and sent him in to go beat up his former stable. Basically, the current stable they had of Macias, Mecha Wolf, Sansa, and more, Roldan had enough of them losing. And Macias pointed the finger. Macias took onus to this, said, hey, it's, you're the boss, you're the leader here. Roldan sarcastically basically agreed and said, you know what, we're gonna break up this team. El Oro, the Eye, is done. We have ruptured, and he leaves, he exits into the hallway, and he looks up at this huge giant and nods, and then you hear like comical breakdown and beatdown sounds of bodies going through walls and stuff like that. So it's obviously Omos has gone in there and beaten him down. We haven't seen Omos on AAA since he destroyed Microman earlier at the La Copa Baudal at Triple Mania. But he came down and was basically the catalyst for Vikingo's win. Vikingo looked shocked at first and even a little bit after, but it became very clear that he was now part of Roldan's new Oro movement. We saw them also having sly exchanges during this tour, and I really liked that Vikingo came out with like the Halloween, the Grinch mask. Awesome. And somehow you could see how arrogant he was under the mask by his body movements, but also his face. I love how sometimes you can see faces through masks, like in your mind. It's awesome. And I have to say, I've been pleasantly surprised at how well Vikingo has taken to being a heel. He has cocky swagger. He's got strut. He's got everything you need, and he's getting booed by his like hometown crowds. So that's a great sign that you're doing well. He's been cutting good promos as a heel, great facial expression, delivery, and I think this is great for him because he's been all performance, go, 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 go. His body's going to give out. He needs to build character so that when he's an older lucha, it's all about him showing up and being a dickhead and pulling out the big moves when he needs to. That's how guys like Ultimo Guerrero and Cibernetico and stuff like that, that's how they have such long careers, and La Parca. And Vikingo has a legitimate gripe. He's got a beef with the fans over the fact that they like this fake luchador, El Grande Americano. They absolutely love this guy. And who doesn't love this guy? He's my best talker of the year on my list. And he also doesn't like the fact that they love Dominic Mysterio, a man who he says desecrates and dishonors his own father's name. It's hard to think Dominic really is a face. Like, even though he's still being a heel, he's a huge face in Mexico. It's kind of fun. And Vikingo's being a heel against the heel that everybody loves. But he's also pointed out how Dragon Lee left Mexico. He's working for WWE. He's a tag champ there. So he's like, I'm a homegrown here. All these guys are all from WWE. And why don't you love me? You used to love me. Is it because of Alberto Patron? It's because we got rid of Alberto? Who knows? But the last show they had, that Alonso show I was talking about, that was in Puebla. That's where he's from. And they really turned on him there. And they also really, really celebrated when Grande Americano pinned him to win their singles bout. So that was like the final straw for him. And tonight was the catalyst. And they're going to move into the new year for this TV show. This is going to be one of their huge angles. And I think Omos is going to be working. We're going to get Omos down there, man. Tag team champs. Let's just smash guys over. I mean, it's going to be pretty fun. And now it's time for the main event. I was hoping that Penta was just resting this entire month and a bit, so that he could show up for this match. I didn't think that the popped out shoulder from the Last Time Is Now tournament was going to be that bad. Sometimes guys can pop back in a little bit of time to heal up. But no, obviously he was not approved. But you know what they say on the indies, on my level, if you got to cancel somebody, you got to try and aim higher to keep the fans happy. And you can't aim much higher than replacing Penta with Rey Mysterio himself, especially since the match is against Dominic and Grande Americano. So Rey gets to get in there with his son. So this was absolutely awesome. Phoenix and Mysterio against Dominic and El Grande Americano. And the emotional capper here is basically that Dominic is also using the Los Gringos name. Los Gringos 2.0 is what they're calling themselves, him and Grande. So that's just another little dig there, where Mysterio sides more with the Eddie Guerrero legacy than his own father's legacy. And the father-son tension in this match really built up. There was slick counters, heel tactics from Dom, and the crowd was really digging the Mysterio family clash here. Penta did eventually interfere, put a steel plate in his mask, just like how Grande Americano does, and he set Rey up for the pin in about 17 minutes. Great to see Rey pinning his son here. Maybe we'll see him take the AAA Mega Championship. That would be absolutely huge. Rey could easily pull it off, have that belt for a while. It's not like they're defending it constantly. On these tours, I don't think the belt was defended even once, perhaps. But post-match, Dom shoved Americano, stormed off, and Grande Americano shook hands with Rey Mysterio in solidarity. We got the face turn, and even though he was wearing the American colors in this match, lately on the recent tours he's been wearing the Mexican colors, and he's been getting tons of cheers. They love this guy. They love that he came in, spoke the language, can sing their songs. Best mic work of the year by far. Better than Heyman, better than Punk, better than anybody. If you know, you know. Grande Americano is the shit, is the guano. Man, I screwed it up. Could have gone all the way. Shoulder injuries might be going around, though, not just Penta. Dom supposedly is dealing with a bit of a shoulder injury here. I actually didn't find out about that till after the match, so I might want to go and take a look, see if he was favoring it at all. But you should definitely go and take a look as well. This was an absolutely awesome show. Momentum is building. The partnership is more than I ever hoped it could be. This is the best thing to come out of 2025 as far as I'm concerned, or at least one of the few things they did that has really worked out. I mean, they dropped the ball on Ron Killings, they dropped the ball on Cena, they dropped the ball. I mean, so many feuds got stretched out and then just like went nowhere, or like intentional. It's so much. You know, what happened to Street Profits? I mean, no New Day, no nothing. Everything kind of just went like throughout the year. But this thing had me worried the most, and it's ended up being absolutely fabulous. So definitely check it out, and we will see you here next time on the channel.